state-run TV broadcaster.
We have successfully tested a hydrogen bomb that can be loaded into a new intercontinental ballistic missile.
The announcement came about 3 hours after the 5.7 magnitude artificial quake was detected near the North's Punggye-ri test site. This is apparently the North's 6th nuclear test and comes about a year since its 5th nuclear test in September last year.
Ballistic missile. According to North Korea's official state-run KCNA news agency, the newly developed hydrogen bomb's power is adjustable to hundreds of kilotons and can be detonated at high altitudes. The new bombs are also allegedly produced using indigenous components that will allow the country to build as many nuclear weapons as it wants.
Let's return to those claims by North Korea that it has successfully tested a hydrogen bomb many times more powerful than devices used in previous tests. Our correspondent Yogita Lemai is in Seoul. What reaction there, Yogita?
Well, we've just had word from the South Korean government, which has said it's going to ask for stronger sanctions against North Korea to try and further isolate the country. South Korea has also said that it's considering that more U.S. tactical weapons could be deployed in this country. We don't have more details about what exactly it's referring to when it says more U.S. tactical weapons. There is a big U.S. presence here, and in fact, just last week, joint military drills by U.S. and South Korean forces concluded here. But as far as the nuclear test today is concerned, North Korea has very significantly claimed that it's tested a hydrogen bomb, so a very powerful nuclear device. But not only that, it's saying that this is a hydrogen bomb that is designed to be fitted onto an intercontinental ballistic missile. And that's what many will find worrying, because we know that Pyongyang has tested long-range missiles in July. Many experts believe that these rockets have the capability of hitting the US mainland. So if North Korea's claims today are true, it will effectively mean that it's saying it can weaponize, it can arm these long-range missiles now.
Is there more of a sense of concern on the streets of Seoul than perhaps there has been prior to now?
Well, people in Seoul are quite used to threats from North Korea. This is the 6th nuclear test that North Korea has conducted. It conducted 2 last year, but it's not just that. It's conducted more than a dozen missile tests this year. Many people here believe that these tests and this ramping up of its nuclear program by Pyongyang is more for political leverage than actually meaning to start a war. And it is significant to note that these are tests conducted by North Korea. It is ramping up its missile program. It says it is a defensive technique. North Korea's justification is that this is its defense against invasion. It hasn't actually sort of made claims that it's going to start a war. It says this is a defensive move, particularly against the US, against South Korea. And that's what many people here in South Korea who've dealt with this for a pretty long time, many of them seem to believe as well that this is not going to result in an actual war. But certainly it worries them that every now and then you have this very strong words, and not just words now, actions coming from North Korea.
경의하는 최고령도자 김정은 동지께서 핵무기 병기화 사업을 지도하셨습니다. 조선노동당 위원장이시며 조선민주주의인민공화국 국무위원회 위원장이시며 조선인민군 최고사령관이신 우리 당과 국가 군대 최고령도자.
North Korea claims it has developed a more advanced nuclear weapon that has great destructive power. It said leader Kim Jong-un inspected a hydrogen bomb that will be loaded onto a new intercontinental ballistic missile. The report, by North Korea's official KCNA news agency, comes amid heightened regional tension following Pyongyang's test launch of 2 ICBM-class missiles in July that had a range of about 6,000 miles and could hit many parts of the mainland USA. North Korea has pursued work on building nuclear weapons and long-range ballistic missiles, defying UN sanctions and international pressure. The Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe spoke with US President Donald Trump, calling for closer cooperation between the two countries in the face of the escalating situation.
Japan has confirmed that North Korea conducted a nuclear test on Sunday. It's Pyongyang's 6th test in just over a decade. People living in China near the North Korean border have reported feeling shaking caused by tremors. A video shows a chandelier rocking with the sound. The people who shot the footage say that the vibrations lasted about 8 seconds and that a crack appeared in the wall of a neighboring building.
After analyzing various information, including Japan's meteorological agency, the Japanese government confirms the previous earthquake was caused by North Korea's nuclear test. We criticize the act with our utmost words. It is in violation of the UN Security Council resolutions. And we ordered to coordinate with the United States and South Korea to request for a new emergency meeting at the United Nations Security Council.
Kono says Japan will work with members of the UN Security Council to recommend more resolutions against North Korea. South Korea and China also detected the earthquake, which originated in Gyeongju County, located in the northeastern part of the country. This is the region where the past 5 nuclear tests have been conducted. The South Korean military thinks it may have been a nuclear test, but has not issued a confirmation. Meanwhile, China called the earthquake a suspected explosion. Japan's defense minister says jets have been deployed to determine if any radioactive materials reached Japanese territory.
It was announced by the Japanese Meteorological Agency that the magnitude is 6.1, which means that it is much more powerful than the previous magnitude of 5.3, which is what we are assuming.
The South Koreans and the USGS have all said that this was a man-made development, a man-made explosion. So in the past, when we've seen this, these earthquakes, this kind of seismic activity, it has been tied to nuclear tests. Let me just run through for you the 5 previous nuclear tests we've seen take place in North Korea. The first, in 2006, was estimated to be about a kiloton, just a fraction of the size of the bomb the US dropped on Hiroshima during World War II. The second test, in 2009, was bigger, 2 to 6 kilotons, according to the Arms Control Association. A third test followed in 2013. That was the first one carried out under leader Kim Jong-un. In January of last year, a 4th nuclear test. This time, the regime claiming it successfully detonated a hydrogen bomb. And then September 9th, 2016, a 5th nuclear test, and the most powerful one yet, estimated at 10 kilotons.